They say in life, as some doors close, others open. My life has changed drastically over the years, and fast forward to today, and I'm still talking about the NES. It's just something that is instilled in me. The NES would undoubtedly shape a great deal of my early adolescence. As my memory serves me, I vaguely remember the excitement of getting my very first Super NES and living out those early moments of my youth. Seeing Super Mario World in all its 16-bit glory was truly remarkable. To this day, the artistic approach of Super Mario World is something that is etched into my mind. So much so, I identify with it in sorts as my definitive Mario aesthetic. The discovery of Star Road and warping around Dinosaur Island captivated my imagination, and as time went on, I would eventually come down from my Super NES high. Even with the beautiful array of colors and sounds, it quickly became apparent I really just wanted to play my NES again, and more importantly, my Mega Man games. It's not that I didn't love my Super NES, and I still do to this day, but it's something about the uniqueness of the platforming experience, whether that be within the confines of the controls or the overall physics to a degree. Something about the 8-bit experience couldn't be replicated at that time. A game series like Contra, Ninja Gaiden, and Castlevania had this sense of primitive control that was stiff at times, yet in the same breath gave me a sense of complete control. The classic stage design that in many ways was designed to teach through trial and error was ingrained in me. Super Mario World was fantastic, but didn't give me that same level of platforming excitement I would typically get from a more hardcore platforming experience the early NES titles provided. It was apparent at that very moment I was hooking up my NES again, and this time permanently. Now, around this time I would head back to some of my favorite department stores to see what was still out there on the NES aftermarket. It was then that I would begin to see advertisements for another Mega Man title. But wait, what? I knew that Mega Man X would be coming out around this time, yet here I was staring back at what appeared to be another NES Mega Man game. Not only that, but the NES was getting a complete makeover in the form of the NES Top Loader. That summer, I made it a mission to seek out some new upcoming NES games, and as I did, I rediscovered that feeling I did first getting my NES. By doing so, I found some of the late great releases on the NES, such as the Star Tropics series and Kirby's Adventure. Even Zelda 1 and 2 made a return to form in the new Classic series line. The Classic series line even brought back Punch-Out, which I now finally had the opportunity to play, but unfortunately this time, including the lackluster new heavyweight champ on the block, Mr. Dream. What the hell happened to Mike Tyson, and how did this guy have a record of 99-0? Even as a kid, I knew this was complete bullshit, and there's no way he got a single one of those wins over Tyson. So just what was Mega Man 6 all about? Well, from the looks of the box art, Mega Man was sporting a brand new look. The box art alone was enough to convince me I was in for something special, and just as I did so many times before, I was now traveling back to my roots into the world of Mega Man, and by the looks of this new Mega Man X series, it felt like my time with the original Blue Bomber was unfortunately coming to a close. I didn't hesitate to jump right back into it, but with that being said, what would become of the classic Blue Bomber going forward? With the latest technological breakthroughs coming in the form of the Super Nintendo, the Capcom staff was well into development of their latest masterpiece. The next generation in robotics was here with the reveal of Mega Man X. With the blueprints in motion, much of the team's focus was now heavily directed towards its X development. With the support of the NES in a slow decline, Capcom would take everything they established up until this point and deliver one final adventure for those who stuck around with the NES all this way. This was the Blue Bomber's true swan song, and he was going out with a bang, or should I say, charge shot. Now, since development of Mega Man 6 was being worked on alongside the X series, Capcom not only agreed this would be the final installment on the NES, but also decided to leave the publishing of their stateside release in the hands of Nintendo of America. It's another reason if you ever wondered why that fun purple box art we had grown so familiar with had disappeared this time around. Yeah, it's essentially due to Capcom not taking liberties here. They just kinda abandoned that side of things altogether. KJ Inafune would also go on record this time stating that releasing a franchise with 6 installments was considered a rarity in the industry. Moving forward, players would expect certain aspects of each game to be repeated in the next installment, and he would take this idea into consideration when developing Mega Man 6. Yet with that said, and even after releasing Mega Man 4 and 5 years prior, Capcom would attempt to freshen up the formula just enough to give fans a bit of something new upon the final release. This would be done by incorporating the new Rush adapters into the series. The Capcom team assumed the next stage in Mega Man's progression would naturally be through a combination of Mega Man and Rush, a fusion of sorts that would utilize Rush's powers in some sort of advanced lock-on technology. Not that kind of lock-on technology. The artistic direction that followed came with some struggles in the implementation phase, primarily due to the team feeling the core design was unrealistic at best. Inafune would add to this by stating, "If you think about it, they shouldn't be able to combine like this. It would be awkward if parts of Rush, like his neck, were left over after they combine. So what was I supposed to do?" Mega Man was undoubtedly heading into an unpredictable future, and so was the infamous Robot Master contest. Now robot submissions were being accepted outside of Japan for the very first time. The contest again was constructed in collaboration with Nintendo Power Magazine. This time, however, the contest was now open to North American readers. Over 200,000 designs were taken in for Mega Man 6, with 6 Robot Masters chosen from Japan and 2 being selected from North America. The 2 North American picks for Mega Man 6 were chosen as Nightman and Windman. Not only did we have 2 chosen Robot Masters from North America, but the artists responsible for these new designs had their Robot Masters front and center on the North American box art itself. With the Robot Master contest now becoming open to countries outside Japan, young inspiring roboticists all over the world would slowly start to have the opportunity to imprint their creativity onto the series, and a big part of the central theme of Mega Man 6 was centered around a worldwide global setting. According to Inafune, he would state, "The world is our stage, and I really enjoyed bringing what I felt was a unique flavor of different countries into the game." After years of continued attacks by Dr. Wily, the Global Robot Alliance is formed in the attempts to counter future attacks. To determine the robots that will represent the Alliance and maintain worldwide peace, the first annual robot tournament is held. The host and financial backer of this new tournament would go by the name Mr. X. Mr. X claims to be the leader of a mysterious new foundation that is responsible for hosting the tournament. With the event being promoted on a global scale, the strongest robots around the world would now participate. Hearing the news of the upcoming tournament, Dr. Light declines his invitation to the tournament, only to send Mega Man to oversee and investigate any unusual activity instead. Ironically, before the tournament can officially kick off, Mr. X announces he has reprogrammed the 8 Robot Master finalists with the intent to take over the world. In a new twist, Mr. X informs Mega Man that he has been manipulating Dr. Wily from behind the scenes up until now, and as a result, Mega Man takes pursuit of the newly reprogrammed Robot Masters. Now, as we embark on the Mega Man 6 experience, we do so with an entirely new outlook by means of progression. The Capcom gods would descend down upon us once more with new power-up forms for Mega Man coming in the form of our 2 Rush adapters. The first being the Jet Mega Man form, now granting us access to flight, ascending upward with the capabilities to hover momentarily for a short period of time. However, there is a trade-off here. In the event that you are in flight, you are prevented from using your charge shot. Our second Rush adapter comes in the form of Power Mega Man. Here we harness a supercharged heavy armored suit for Mega Man, equipped with a powerful short-range punch that has the capabilities of obliterating large blocks that restrict your path. Here the trade-off is the loss of your slide ability, so tread carefully. Another new addition to Mega Man 6 comes in the quality of life improvement with the new Energy Balancer. This fun little device aids Mega Man by conveniently autofilling Mega Man's weapon with the least amount of energy. Mega Man 6 has a lot to offer and is a fitting conclusion to the Blue Bomber's journey through the Nintendo Entertainment System. On the surface level, the game is quite an easy playthrough for veterans. You can easily blow through many of the levels without too much difficulty. It's either Wily ran out of resources this time around, or he just said the hell with it altogether. Maybe he needs some of that sweet 16-bit engineering to truly bail him out. However, if you take a moment to truly soak in the experience, I think you will truly see Mega Man 6 for what it is. It's a dedicated love letter to fans that have stuck with our faithful hero through the various journeys thus far. The world setting is a true highlight of Mega Man 6 and is where the game discovers its fundamental strengths through a masterclass of stage design. From the snow-covered cliffs of Blizzard Man's frozen island to the wild west setting of Tomahawk Man's stage, it truly feels as if Mega Man has jumped through a moment in time to locate these Robot Masters. Where some instances in Mega Man level design can downright feel redundant, the world building here always feels fresh and new. I wasn't just traveling through a stage based more or less off a Robot Master's attributes. Here I was told a story as I progressed. Take Yamato Man's stage for example. Upon entering this Robot Master's domain, you not only have a description of your destination in the title, the Impregnable Fortress, you descend down into the stage, arriving just in time to soak in the view of Mount Fuji. As you travel towards the red fortress ahead, you see more of the setting painted in the fine details, such as the many Japanese building aesthetics etched into the background, with many unique enemies you encounter along your travels. The restricted area is home of Tomahawk Man, a beautiful stage that is incredibly fun to journey through, with sharpshooters at every turn. As you travel, the architecture slowly changes all throughout, starting off with the traditional western setting, only to slowly turn mechanized as you progress. One of my favorite things to do is equip the Rush jetpack and fly across a beautiful sunset towards the very top of the stage. If you revisit the stage a second time around, you are treated to an alternate time zone, with the stage now taking place during the evening hours. The ancient city that is protected by Centaur Man takes place throughout the ancient ruins of Greece. This stage sets the scene covered in gorgeous waterfalls and handcrafted pillars that tower around the enriched architecture spanning across the vast mountain ranges. As you travel throughout the flooded hallways, the water levels rise and fall with spikes embedded deep within the coral floors. Mega Man 6 does an amazing job capturing these beautiful environments with unique set pieces and enemies that are specifically designed to complement these respective time periods. In my opinion, much of Mega Man 6's strengths come from the overall stage design and the storytelling that is told within them. In addition, this can't fully be experienced without utilizing the Mega Jet in power form. Mega Man 6 takes full advantage of these rush adapters by building set pieces within the stages around them. You utilize the adapters by flying to specific locations that were once unattainable at the moment in time. You may see an obstacle obstructing your path that requires the power punch to break through, granting you access to the floor below. This not only changes course, but gives you new ways to travel through the stage and ultimately discovering branching pathways that find you replaying stages in due time. There are 4 stages in Mega Man 6 that require you to discover the alternate paths that lead to the alternate fights with Robot Masters. Upon reaching and defeating them, you are rewarded with the 4 letters required to unlock Beat. Although this is completely optional, I like to look at these alternative paths as means of discovering the true Robot Masters hidden within the stages. I could easily remain on the topic regarding the stage themes, yet to truly appreciate them that much more, it's important to take a deeper look at the inspiration behind these new Robot Master designs. Residing deep in the corridors of his kingdom, Nightman is equipped with his signature weapon, the Night Crusher, a powerful flail allowing him to attack our blue bomber from great range. His sweet shield and blue metallic helmet and armor with yellow accents always popped out to me. His design had some great attention to detail, such as his lavender collar and pink gem that made for a nice touch. Another favorite of mine was Centaur Man. The fact that we could even receive a Robot Master of his stature blew my mind. This felt like an enemy you would almost see depicted as a Maverick in the X series. Centaur Man towered over Mega Man, and his special weapons made him feel like a true mythological creature. The Centaur Flash and Space Distortion abilities made for a killer moveset. He could not only temporarily stop time, but also had the ability to teleport back and forth throughout his chamber. I could only imagine the feeling of getting a reverse heel kick to the face mid-battle by this colossal beast. I previously stated in the past how much I love the soundtrack of Mega Man 2, which is one of the most iconic soundtracks of the series. In all fairness, I can't go on without acknowledging the brilliance of this soundtrack. Mega Man 6 is composed by none other than the great Yuko Takahara. Each song does a great deal highlighting the overall tone depicted throughout the various stages. Some of my favorite standouts being Blizzard Man and Wind Man. I can put these songs on repeat, adding them to any mix I may have going on. As Mega Man makes his way through the various battlefields, he would eventually reach Mr. X's fortress. After a very anticlimactic battle with Mr. X himself, he reveals himself as none other than Dr. Wily, as if we didn't see that coming from a mile away. This battle feeling more so as a way to toy with Mega Man, leading him back to another gauntlet of mechanized madness deep within his Skull Fortress. Side note, even the Wily Fortress this time around has a creative touch with a bit more cultural significance to the design, looking as if Wily took some architectural cues from the areas he traveled across the game. The Mr. X and Wily Fortresses are a great experience, feeling influenced more so by the cultural themes depicted throughout the adventure. I love the required use of the Mega Jet for the Mr. X stages. As you scale the cold exterior of the fortress in the darkest hours of the night, you get a sense of espionage sneaking into the fortress itself. You have optional paths to make your way through the corridors of the stages, and it feels very rewarding, whether it's a power-up I may receive or just an entirely unique area filled with fun new surprises at every corner. The boss battles are just as grand in scale as ever, but in a sense, many of these fights feel like a final evolution of the designs throughout the 6 installments, almost a way to really paint this final narrative as we move into the next era of Mega Man games. I felt a great deal of familiarity with these Wily stages, but at the same time felt enriched with Capcom culture, and the best way I can really emphasize it is, I'm watching a series grow in front of my very eyes, but at the same time hitting a ceiling by means of hardware limitations. That's not necessarily a bad thing. For newcomers of the series, it's going to be a great experience, yet for seasoned veterans, what you may be feeling as burnout may also be viewed as hitting a ceiling in design. Capcom has truly given us the very best they can offer. You get exactly what is expected here, and that is nothing more and nothing less, where the focus is on fleshing out the already established designs, giving you that final send-off that is worthy of any great fan base seeking closure. This is best told in the final moments of the game as we confront confront Wily once more in his good old Skull Tanker. As you slide under and jump up just in time to deliver the crushing blow, Wily pops up again in his trusty Skull Capsule, only this time, you know deep down it's for keeps. You feel almost as if you are fighting a withered and broken man. As easy as this fight is, you know something about it is different. As the battle comes to a close, Mega Man does what he knows deep down in his heart he must do. Defeated once more, Wily sits with no distractions, no place to go, as Mega Man brings Wily into custody, locking him away once and for all. In a way, this is really the only way to finish off the final installment in the NES Mega Man games. At the time, we knew what was on the horizon. The Super NES was here, and a new Mega Man was hitting the scenes, so in a sense, it was only fitting to give our hero the closure he deserves. At this time, it felt like a true ending to the Blue Bomber story. Mega Man now had grown and matured, doing what he felt was in the best interest of the world, capturing Wily after hesitating to do so on countless attempts. I wouldn't have wrote it any other way. So much of this 6th installment feels like a farewell tour to the classic Mega Man series. As I mentioned, the stages themselves are the highlights. Each stage feels like its own unique side story within the game itself. We scaled the towers of Windman Stage, constructed with beautifully crafted architecture influenced by the brilliant influences in Chinese culture. Cage propellers blowing steadily with the strong winds, helping to aid Mega Man by soaring to greater lengths. We traveled across the fortified structures of the noble Nightman's lands, depicting the very essence of the Middle Ages. This adventure felt larger than life, and in many ways felt like the perfect chapter to end our 8-bit journeys on. With console gaming heading into the 16-bit era, Mega Man 6 had no right being this good. The Capcom team in large were going through many changes with the ever-changing landscape. Through innovations in technology, hardware advancements were a must, and the stage was set for the next generation of Mega Man games. The future was now, and Mega Man X represented just that. In many ways, life comes full circle, and again, as one door closes, another opens. Yet as it does, it's hard to see a future without classic Mega Man. Life is full of the unexpected. It comes at us so fast that the many twists and turns can almost blindside us at times. Throughout those ups and downs, one thing always remained constant. That was the Mega Man series, and in many ways, the beauty of the Mega Man universe is the fantasy elements of the series. These elements helped me escape the many hardships of reality for a brief moment. As I went through my adolescence, Mega Man was always there every step of the way. Although the Mega Man series needs to additionally evolve, I don't know if I was ready to move forward. No matter where the classic Mega Man would be moving to, I felt closure knowing that the future of the series looked bright. Mega Man collectively grew so much as a series. From a character perspective, all great things at some point must change, and after Mega Man 6 came to a close, I realized I was okay with this. I would always be able to come back and enjoy these games again. These stories that I grew up with will always be there, and when I need them the most, I can always revisit them. I've had the privilege of making new friends just going through this franchise with many of you, and with that said, who's not to say classic Mega Man won't return again in some fashion? You never know what the future will bring. Legends never die, and even in darkness, their legacy remains bright. See you again someday, Mega Man.